All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another amazing episode of Multi-Cultural, the hardest pronounced pop culture podcast on the planet, coming to you from On the One Studios here in beautiful Greensboro, North Carolina. Before we do get started with the AKAs and this episode on Endgame, by the way, spoilers ahead.
Spoiler.
We do want to give a big shout out to Zibster, Zibster. Make sure you check out our website. They have done a fantastic job transforming our website into the powerhouse that it is right now. Based right here in Greensboro, North Carolina. They work all over the country as well as the planet. Zibster, check them out, Zibster.
Did I hear a transtastic in there?
I don't know. Transtacular.
Whatever you want to be.
I'm your host, Brian, a.k.a. Behern.
And it's your boy, Jadon, a.k.a. Jerry, son of Jerry, a.k.a. Hell Hydra.
Ooh. I'm Mateo. That's it.
Ryan Saber, Captain Cleveland, Browns, Cavs, Indians, a.k.a. America's ass.
Yes!
So, in case you have not noticed, we are going to be talking about Avengers Endgame. We just saw the movie last night. Cannot wait to talk about it. If you have not seen it yet, there are going to be some spoilers coming your way. So watch the movie first, then listen to our podcast. We don't want to ruin it for you, but we're going to get into it. Just going to
Like
kind of
LaShawn McCoy.
Yeah, no shit,
God.
LaShawn
Fucking
McCoy.
asshole.
As an Eagles fan, I'm very, very
Fucking
offended by
asshole.
this. Don't do that.
Wait, what
Don't do
happened?
that.
So,
Yeah, get into that, Saba.
Yes.
look, we're not going to waste, but basically, immediately after the movie was over, he went on Twitter with him and his son from his car in the parking lot and recorded a video talking about the sad part.
Why?
Yeah.
Why would he
I
do
understand you're still with the Bills. but
Thursday
come on.
at 6 o'clock at night.
He's the guy that doesn't tip either, isn't
Fucking piece of shit.
that? He doesn't tip.
That's for another episode. Celebrities that don't tip.
he? Scottie Pippen. Looking at you, buddy.
Tip your bartender a dime t-shirt. It's still available.
That's right. That's right.
No tipping Pippen. Anyway.
So, Jerry, you want to kick us off with your no tipping Pippin on your thoughts on the movie?
I mean, holy
Heard around the world.
shit.
How is that a thing? People don't tip?
Yeah, unfortunately.
No, they don't.
Now, I know they don't do it in Europe because they're not supposed to. But
This isn't Europe.
yes, it's not
It's
Europe.
far
is
from Europe,
definitely
yeah.
not.
But big shout outs to our fans in Europe, though. We love it.
Yes.
And they also make like $19 an hour.
Correct. Or euros, whatever
Right?
it is.
You know what I mean? The
6
equivalent.
months off.
So it's
Yeah.
a different dynamic. Somebody who's making $3 an hour, you can tip them fucking 16% for fuck's sake.
True that.
Yep. So, Endgame, holy shit. Like, where to begin? It picked up right after, and
Yeah.
it was just a roller coaster the entire time. There was a lot of highs, there were a lot of lows. I laughed, I cried,
Did you cry?
He did
cried.
cry.
Did you cry?
I did cry.
I heard him fucking whimpering.
I thought I did too.
Yeah.
I saw you cheer. I did see you cheer when
I was very animated in this.
Somebody
movie.
grabbed a hammer.
Listen, I thought it was Courtney, and then I looked over, and I could see that it wasn't her. It was
She was
actually,
drying my
It was
eyes.
actually
Damn.
Jerry fucking sobbing.
But I mean, you got everything you wanted. I think. I mean, they really capped a lot of their storylines that they've been, making through all these years. And wow, I couldn't believe it. I'm still like in awe. I mean, we're gonna do favorite parts now, or
I
just
think just maybe do a little general. We can all kind of do a little general, and then we'll go into
there's
it.
a lot to get
There's a
into.
lot.
I mean, I loved the fact that they just immediately just handled Thanos.
Yeah.
They,
for sure.
We all saw the trailer. Captain Marvel was down. She was like, "Let's just go get this motherfucker," and
Verbatim.
Yeah, I mean, and they all suit up, strap in, get on the ship, and handle business. But we find out that they're a little too late.
Yeah.
And they got to come up with another plan to do to figure this out. So I don't know. We're gonna bounce back and forth. So I mean, any initial thoughts?
I was
mean,
proud of
Manny.
Thor in that moment.
Yeah. For sure.
Honestly,
just so much regret
I
from him. Though.
just liked it, the whole movie. It was long, which I don't mind. but I think it took a long time to get to where it was going. In the beginning, the first half anyway. I appreciated the story build up, but at the same time, they didn't really go into certain things. Like 20 minutes in, you're like, oh, I discovered time travel. And that was it. And then,
Right, sure, right.
you know, and we're watching these movies for 10, 12 years, and all of a sudden, boom.
Tony Stark and time travel.
I did it. Oh,
Test this theory.
come on, man.
It works, boss.
He did seem very surprised when it was.
Because he didn't want it to.
Yeah, that's right. He didn't want any of it. He just wanted. He was beaten. He was hurt, but he lucked out. Really, I mean, he didn't lose Pepper. He got back to Earth, and he had this family that he's been talking about. I mean, we heard him talking about his dream of Morgan Stark in Infinity War,
right?
And so it's just. I think they even said it. He's like, well, am I going to risk what I have now to try to put all this back? But I mean, speaking of which, that scene where he's just tearing ass towards the Avengers
From the wheelchair?
headquarters. No, from like
In the car?
Yeah, in the
Yeah.
car. But oh god, him freaking out though, like him and Nebula
first
first
get
get back, and him. Oh man, that was like the most.
Like when
That's
So
the most
powerful.
broken you've ever seen him.
Really?
just
I mean, he
looked
thought
at-
his life was over.
Yeah.
Like he was yelling, and he kind of stops for a minute. He just looks at Cap and he goes, "Liar!"
Yes.
And it was just like, man, that just gave me goosebumps when I
Yeah.
said that.
And it's not that Robert Downey Jr. is a terrible actor. He's a phenomenal actor, but
he did a
that's
great
to me the
job.
most
Yeah, he did.
he's had to act in the series though. To me,
Well,
I mean
it's
that
so-
was pure
all of
passion.
them, though.
It's so
and pain.
effortless for him.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
he
all
is
of
Tony
them
Stark.
did their best.
He was real
acting.
frail.
Oh
in the
yeah, I'm
beginning,
not
too.
saying that they're shitty actors. I'm just saying they really brought it. Showing how much pain and hurt that they went through and anguish and just defeat. They're all defeated.
Yeah, I did appreciate Ronan also.
Yeah,
Yeah,
What he turned into, what he became.
it was awesome.
Yeah, he was wrecking shop.
yeah,
Yeah, he was
that
badass.
That
Yeah.
was incredible. Like that's what I wanted to see
Way
the
to
whole
show
time.
out, Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Oh, and on a side note, they announced that he has his own show the other day on the new Disney Plus channel. There's going to be a Hawkeye alone show that I think potentially, they didn't get into too much detail, but goes through the transition, and then how when Black Widow was looking for him, and Rhodey said there was some Mexican cartel. I think they may go into that whole like transition from Hawkeye to Ronin and that whole let's kill everybody who survived that shouldn't have, which could be really cool.
Wow, that was
Right.
crazy.
$6.99 a month, by the way, which isn't bad. $69.99
Cheaper than
for the
Netflix.
year. Yeah. Sorry.
Don't apologize. Yeah. Oh, you want me to keep going?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like I said, I just it was a great ending to that saga.
yeah.
I like the way it was done cinematically. But like I said, to me, there was a lot of holes. And I tried to bring it up yesterday, and you guys didn't want to talk about it. We were talking about it
We
today.
figure we save it
We're
for now.
the whole time traveling thing. And I don't know how you feel about time travel, but like it's just it didn't fit for me. Like
Right.
Well,
how all of a sudden you guys are gonna do this and then make your own rules. Like
Right.
you can Nebula killed herself, but then she's still alive, and Gamora can come back, but fucking Black Widow can't come back.
Right.
So like
I think I have an answer.
Back
for
to
you.
the Future was bullshit.
That was
Right.
great.
Yeah.
That is a line from the movie.
Yeah.
But no, I think I watched a couple of reviews on this to try to get, because the time travel, it's really wonky. It's either Back to the Future rules or Dragon Ball Z rules. And so in Back to the Future time travel rules, what you fuck up in the past will have an effect on
Change the
you.
future.
But in Dragon Ball Z rules, what they do is, once you leave, if you go back in time and change something, it's not going to change your
creates an
original
alternate
reality.
timeline.
Right.
It's just going to create an alternate timeline. And so,
Is that what they were trying? Is that what they pretty much
yes,
did in Endgame?
yes.
Okay.
For example,
That makes a little bit more sense.
for
now.
example, when Loki snuck the Tesseract back from the time heist. They jumped back to the 2012 to the events of the Battle of New York. And so Loki took his shot. He saw it laying there, and he grabbed it. He was all bound and buckled, and he grabbed it and just portaled himself away. And
Away to where?
Well, it doesn't matter because they
I think we'll
left.
see in the Loki standalone show on Disney
and
Plus, probably.
Yes, they talked about that. Yes,
It doesn't matter because he left and did whatever he wanted, and then our Avengers team, went back to where they
Even
were from.
further.
So
Right,
it
even
doesn't
further.
matter. He got one on the Avengers, but it's in an alternate timeline.
he still died on the ship at the beginning of Infinity
Exactly.
War.
Right.
Our Loki is dead, but I'm pretty psyched that they let another version of Loki get away.
Yeah, and they also a second video that I watched outside of the one that you sent kind of explained Cap at the end. He had to time travel back to that spot. That was a different Cap. So,
How do you mean different?
So
It was the same guy that they sent back.
It was, but think about it. So the Cap from there was You got to watch the video. I'll send it.
Okay.
To you. It made more sense. Don't ask me to. But
I knew that was going to be the hardest thing to discuss on the show is the whole time
Yeah,
travel
the time
aspect, because that's
travel
where a
and
lot
how
of the
it
plot
works.
holes are.
Yeah.
yeah, no, certainly. I mean, I think one of the things that confused me is obviously it's been 5 years, but Peter Parker and all of his friends are the same age. So the way they explain that is all those kids got turned to dust.
Yes.
Okay, that's what
Right.
Jerry was telling me earlier.
So they came back. So probably what they're going to do at the
Their
beginning,
class is gone,
Yeah.
but their little group is
Yes.
still the same age.
There's going
and
to
still
be
has
kids
to finish
that,
school.
and they're going to go through that in next month's Far From Home. That there's going to be a whole group of kids that are 5 years older. Because technically, what they were saying on one of the videos that I watched today was it was 2023.
right.
We
When you think about
were
it, yeah.
watching in the future. It was 2023. So what that sort of also indicates is you're not going to see another Avengers movie for 4 or 5 years because
Till probably 2023.
Yeah, they
Right.
stay on a pretty consistent timeline. So, in general, this is tough for me. I may get a little emotional talking about this. These
got some
guys
tissues.
will tell you. They will tell you. I walked out of the theater and I didn't talk to anybody and I left.
You did leave
Normal
abruptly.
I can't do this right now.
It's not normal.
I kid.
The disappointing. I'm not disappointed. That's the wrong word. My two favorite characters in the whole MCU, they're gone
Right.
in one way or another.
Black Widow.
Her ass is my third favorite. But
I could have sworn it would be Cap's ass.
Yeah.
America's
America's ass.
that was sort of a play on words because I'm an asshole. Anyway, just to explain that, AKA. But look, there was a lot of buildup, a lot of hype. This is something that, really we knew, 2016 maybe?
Right.
That they were doing the next Avengers movie in 2 parts. Side note, I also sort of think historically 10 years from now, I'll look back on this the same way that I look back on Kill Bill. This will sort of be one movie for me. Just a
Right.
5-hour-long movie.
I'm ready for that, to watch it
Yeah.
back to back.
Yeah.
But the emotions, the way that I walked out of Endgame feeling basically the same way as when I walked out of Infinity War, and
Broken.
and the exact opposite thing happened. You know what I mean? Like at the end of it, like if you just kind of take it for face value, the opposite thing happened and you feel the same way because they got everything back at a cost of they almost lost more
Right.
to win than they did in losing.
Right.
Because I'm just going to look, Tony Stark died. Okay.
Right.
And Iron Man's dead.
Which sucks.
And
Yeah.
it sucks. And if Tony
It's getting too
Stark
expensive, man.
If Tony Stark would have died on Titan when he got stabbed in the stomach by Thanos. This never would have been possible because he was the only one with the mind. He's the only one with the mind to do the things. Now
we know why Doctor Strange.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, disappointed is the wrong word. It's just like it's the end of an
Underwhelmed,
era.
maybe?
No. I love the movie. I'm going to see it again tomorrow. I was hyped. I was excited. There was chill bump moments. There was funny moments. There was sad moments. There was moments where I was like, scared's maybe the wrong word, but anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
But it's over.
Yeah.
All we can do is watch it over again.
What else? What
Right.
else can you say? What
Right.
else can you say? It's over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll leave it at that.
I mean, I'm definitely glad that we got to where we are, not knowing that this was even though it was hinted in the first Iron Man, nobody knew how huge that was going to be. And we would not be here without that being so huge, and Kevin Feige being how he is and his hands on everything, making sure that they would get to hopefully this point. Which is, they're going to hit $1 billion opening weekend this weekend.
That's insane.
It's insane to think about.
Do you remember the Showcase Showdown numbers?
I do not.
Mine was 718. I remember that.
Were you the highest one? You might be the
I might have
winner.
been.
You might be the winner.
But did we do U.S. or did we do international?
We did
We
global.
did worldwide.
Okay,
Worldwide.
global.
But
I
just
had to
for the
check the tape on
weekend,
it.
right?
Weekend
Just
starting
for the weekend.
Thursday.
Yes, we did do that. I have to
Thursday,
check.
Friday.
We'll do a little recap on the.
Check the tape, Captain Marvel episode.
But everybody's kind of touched on it. It's definitely had its roller coaster moments. A lot of cheering and laughs in there. Seeing Lebowski Thor.
Wow.
Was hysterical.
They made
That
it.
was awesome.
They made it a point to even dress him like
The dude.
When his mom's like, "What are you wearing?" He's like, "I always wear this."
It's like, oh, the future's been bad to you, huh?
God, it was very bad. Just the reveal of that gut,
Oh, yeah.
in the beginning, wow.
And that was pretty cool too with his mom though. You're not Thor that I know.
Right.
that
So she
was-
knew he was still Thor,
Yeah.
but just not.
You're not
Yeah.
from here.
Yeah. Yes.
That was pretty cool.
And it was good to see a lot of the old characters, come back into play.
I like
as well.
Tony talking to his dad.
Yeah,
That was
he
really
got some
fucking
closure
cool.
with his dad.
That was really cool.
And that's what I liked about it. Just like you said, it's a good thing he did not die on Titan, because it was good to see him get that family life that he wanted.
He also, from that moment, he gained some insight about his father and the relationship with his father.
How similar they
leading
are.
up to
Closure
that
stuff,
point. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
There was always just sort of this, my dad was never there. He
Right.
always loved Captain America more than he loved me kind of dynamic. And I think that was, put to bed a little bit, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely interested to see what the future holds as far as Phase 4 goes. They haven't released what they're doing yet. I mean, of course, Guardians 3 is in the mix.
Yes.
Black
I
Panther
cannot
2
wait.
Black
has
Widow
been confirmed. Black
origin.
Widow origin story. But yeah, I mean, to me, I really enjoyed the movie. It didn't seem too long by any means. I thought they could have honestly stretched out the battle more. If anything,
Yes.
maybe cut the beginning a little bit shorter. Because to me, I feel like the end battle, when everybody in its Avengers assemble, finally, been waiting to
That was
hear
some
Cap
epic-
say
Yeah,
that.
that's some
Epic
stand-up
shit.
shit. Like
Yeah,
when all the portals opened.
Yes.
And, yeah.
I thought they could have, to me, I actually wanted to see more of that. That was the only part of the movie that really felt rushed to me. It was like,
I
all right,
would
here's
agree.
all the characters. Let's throw them in there. And you do get glimpses of some badass stuff. Cap, he's able to wield a
Mjolnir.
Thank you.
Meow,
I'm going to butcher
meow,
the
meow.
name. Yeah, meow, meow.
That was insane.
Yeah. And, seeing Captain Marvel show up late as always.
Yeah,
But-
at the
But
perfect time.
destroying
Yeah.
Sanctuary
Just
2,
fucking
the
shit
entire fucking ship.
Yeah.
That was great.
I compared my feel, I talked about goosebump moments. If you go back to Infinity War, when at the beginning of Infinity War, when they're in when it's Vision and
in Scotland.
in Scotland, when they're fighting with
In the street.
yeah,
Yeah.
and they go down to the train station, and then there's the train comes by, and there's the silhouette, and you see Cap. How that gave me just fucking crazy goosebumps. When you're sitting there in that final battle, and Cap's shield's been broken and it's
Destroyed.
half, and he's kind of standing there by himself, all fucked up, and you're just like, oh shit, what's gonna happen here? And all of a sudden you hear
all
fucking
saw
Sam, Cap, can you hear me?
Yeah.
And then the fucking
I've never been so excited
Yeah.
to hear Falcon in my entire life.
I'm getting goosebumps again just talking about it. Like, I don't, man.
That was probably the best part of the whole movie.
Yeah.
I would say.
I wanted you talked about it. I wanted to see more of that at the end.
Yeah.
Like, even though the beginning was sort of like drawn out, like it was also rushed too. Like, talk to me about how like Bruce Banner was able to walk around like
All of a sudden.
he's just Brain Hulk, or Dr. Hulk
Granted,
or whatever.
he's had 5 years to figure that
but
out.
They didn't explain it, man.
Yeah.
All of a sudden.
Yeah,
And they didn't explain before, really,
But hold
either,
on,
why he couldn't turn into
15
him.
minutes of
You're right.
Scott Lang walking around fucking San Francisco, just like looking at wanted
They coulda
posters.
cut that shit.
Yeah, he
you
coulda
could
just gone
cut
to his
that
house.
out and give me more on
Just
Hulk
straight to
and
Cassie,
other
you know?
things. Yeah, like I don't know.
I can only imagine how long it was to begin with and how much they already had to cut, to be honest with you. Yeah. So,
Yeah, that Hulk shit. I'm like, you couldn't do that 2 movies ago?
right, right, because they still didn't explain why he couldn't turn into him on Infinity War, and then all of a sudden we have Hulk, but it's Banner. It's Banner Hulk.
Yeah.
So,
Another Hulk.
that
Yeah.
Hulk character though is
I liked it.
I
really
thoroughly
enjoyed it.
enjoyed
Funny
it.
as hell.
Thoroughly
Thor
enjoyed
He
it.
had some
Ragnarok
really good funny moments.
was
Yeah.
kind of his apex for me. Like, I feel like that character it kind of started, obviously the original Avengers, and he's kind of peaked. I feel like Thor Ragnarok was the peak in the last 2 movies. I don't think did Mark Ruffalo any justice. I don't,
Yeah,
I don't think you'll ever see him get an individual standalone movie. I don't
Not
know if
until
he,
Sony lets
think
go
he
of those
tried.
rights.
I don't know if he
Well,
can
Sony
carry
still,
it.
Well, that's the thing. Well, Sony still also owns the Hulk. So,
I don't think he could carry it, to be honest with you.
yeah, we'll see.
Well,
before we get-
Spider-Man wasn't just Spider-Man. Because he had Iron Man in there, too.
Yeah, but this one will be.
And the next one's got Nick Fury and Maria Hill in it.
yeah, true.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
And like 4 villains.
Only
So you don't
one,
have to-
only one Nick Fury shot in this one.
Yeah.
Actually, before we
And
get to
who-
the Phase 4 stuff, hold on. Let's take a quick little commercial break here.
There's a proverb that says, where beer is brewed, all is well. And where beer is drunk, life is good. Four Saints Brewing Company meets both those standards. Enjoy great beer for great people in a comfortable and relaxing family-friendly environment. Life is good at Four Saints with weekly events, including trivia, a run club, and live music with no cover. There's more info at foursaintsbrewing.com. Then visit Four Saints Brewing Company right here in downtown Asheboro. We look forward to pouring you a pint of great beer for great people soon.
All right, we're back. We're going to have Saba talk about some of his favorites and saddest moments from the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I touched on it. I think. Let me do it this way. Instead of funny and sad, let me just do to steal one of Jerry's words, let me do a gripe.
You know what grinds my gears?
Yeah, what really grinds my gears is for as sort of close to the vest as they kept a lot of the details of this movie. I mean, obviously things have leaked out over time. Some are
Fucking
real,
whole movie
some
fell out,
some
or
weren't.
leaked out. Sorry.
I feel like the 2 major plot points, like the 2 major ending points, were very predictable. I think Cap going back to his original life and spending his time with Peggy Carter, and Tony Stark dying, sort of sacrificing himself for the greater good because he was always sort of this selfish, self-absorbed, and then he sacrificed it all for everybody. Yep. My look, I just feel like it was very sort of predictable. That's the one thing. The sad moments, I talked about it. Tony dying. The funny moments. There was a lot of funny moments peppered throughout. I loved seeing our boy Korg from
Oh my God.
Ragnarok.
In a
They're
Hawaiian
back.
shirt, right?
Yes.
Just playing
He's from
video
New Zealand,
games.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Just living in an apartment
Yeah.
life, with all the guys
playing Fortnite.
fucking
New
Fortnite.
West. But it was so funny that the kid, a little kid, was talking shit to him, and he's like, Thor, come over here, get on here. And Thor's like, listen, you little dickhead. This is the God of Thunder again, It's so that was really funny. look, there's funny shit peppered throughout. That he's like, that is America's ass right there.
Yeah,
Super,
that was really good.
super outstanding. Scott Lang was. I thought Paul Rudd was great. Even though I kind of knocked on him there a little bit for getting a little bit too much on the front end, I thought that his sort of comedic ability to sort of insert things, Rocket Raccoon the same way, Bradley Cooper, featured heavily in this movie, which was. I thought it was refreshing.
It was basically the Last Guardian.
Yeah,
him and Nebula.
Yeah.
Wow, their reunion, like Nebula and Rocket,
holding
just, like,
hands.
God, it was just that got me, man.
I think look, there's a lot of funny moments that are peppered throughout, but I think the one that sticks with me is when you first get to Asgard, the new Asgard or whatever, and they go in there and. Thor's just
Thor's not on that keto diet. Let's just go ahead and throw that out.
Thor's got the Saba bod, and they're playing video games and shit. It's just real funny. So,
Matthew, what do you got?
It's good stuff. I like the mirror match, the Captain America
Cap
shit.
versus
yes,
And the fact that he
was pretty
cursed
cool.
too.
Yeah,
did you hear me go? Cap the language.
that was pretty cool. I was waiting for that to happen with somebody.
Right.
But again, it was as great as it was. It had so many flaws to me. Like it was confusing and not really confusing, but like you could have explained that better.
Right.
Yeah.
you
Right.
know? And who was that kid at the end with the?
From Iron Man 3.
The kid in the garage.
Oh, yeah.
I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, so who the fuck is this kid?
Yeah, he's
I
standing
didn't
all by
movie you
himself.
hate.
I didn't know that. I saw it in a video. That
Okay,
I watched.
okay.
So
I'm like, who
let
the
me give
fuck
credit
is
where
that?
credit's
Right.
I just
And
know
they had
that's a
him there
kid I
standing
don't
alone,
recognize.
too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where's your mom?
Who invited
But
this
yeah,
kid?
so then there was that. But I really like seeing Pepper in the suit. I always like seeing Pepper.
Yeah.
In the Iron Man suit, the Mark suit.
And not Iron Man 3 Pepper. You know what I mean? Like actually seeing
No,
her
it was
kick
her
some
suit.
ass.
Yeah.
Pepper.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
was rescue armor.
But
Pepper.
when she showed up at first, I thought it was Blue Beetle, and I'm like,
Nah,
he doesn't belong
the wrong
here.
thing.
Who the fuck is that?
That's a DC person.
That is DC. But it looked like Blue Beetle.
Someone lost a bet.
But it was. There were good parts. I just thought it was lacking. You said you walked out of it the same as the first one. I enjoyed the first one more. This was predictable. I did go into it thinking I would see what I was going to see. I expected to see more. I did expect to see Vision one more time.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
did.
He's in the impound.
You'll get all the vision you want on the new Disney Plus series. Jesus.
Apparently, Saba got sponsored and we did.
WandaVision. The worst fucking title ever.
What's it called?
WandaVision.
They could have just called it like they did in the comics.
WandaVision.
There's Scarlet Witch and the Vision.
Yeah, that's terrible. That's a real thing.
WandaVision.
Yeah, that's
Oh
yeah,
my
that's
god! I was hoping you guys were kidding.
they're getting a show, and that's what it's called.
Someone's getting fired over there in the marketing department for that one. Yeah. Or it's someone's like son, like some higher up son, Kevin Feige's like nephew or some shit.
Oh, that was a great idea, buddy. Here's $1 million.
I did like when she came in and she was like, "You took everything from me." He's like, "I don't
Yes.
even know who you are."
That was a goosebump moment for me.
Yeah, you know what? Let me
Yeah.
say that piece right there, where they kind of used Nebula's roboticness to access future memories, and then bring the past Thanos into the future.
Yep.
That was a wrinkle that I didn't expect. I don't think that was predictable.
I mean, from the trailers, we saw Thanos like being beamed down, and he had the sword, and it, but he was in his full armor, right? And so we're all thinking like, why didn't you just use the Space Stone? But that's why, we all thought that it was like Thanos, our Thanos
Right.
present, you know what I mean? But I
he
didn't,
did.
I didn't catch that either. I mean, I didn't catch the fact that it was going to be, past Thanos.
But that's why it bothered me, because the Nebula, they used the same Nebula. He even said it. It's not a different Nebula. It's the same one, just from the future.
Right.
So she killed herself.
Right.
right? She shot herself.
Right. How's she still here?
But but you're thinking about like the picture from Back to the Future and the kids disappearing. Like it doesn't matter.
Right. She still lived.
You can touch
went into the
each
future,
other,
came back.
Like you can it.
So this movie fucked up Back to the Future for everybody else.
Quantum leap.
Yes.
Quantum leap. So wait.
Oh, all the time travel references were so good.
Bill and Ted. He said Bill
Yes.
and Ted.
Yeah.
Fucking so you can
Yes.
explain
Maybe.
why we got to see Gamora but we didn't get to see Black Widow come back?
Well, Gamora came back because it was a past version of her stuck in the present.
But technically, you could see a Black Widow.
You could go back
go
and-
back and get her.
You could.
Well, why didn't they?
I don't know.
That's a good question.
They're just thinking about bringing their.
They could have got Black
Natasha
Widow.
back.
They could have gotten Vision. Like
But
they-
see, here's the thing,
why
though. If
didn't
they
do those
bring
things?
back Black Widow, though, doesn't that negate the Soul Stone altogether? I think that's why.
man.
I think that's why they
answering-
can't bring her back.
We're asking questions that are probably going to be.
This is above our pay grade.
But they'll be discussed at nauseum probably
Oh, God, yes.
by the higher ups at.
The Russos don't even know.
This is like in Game of Thrones when everybody's bitching about them bringing the dragon up from the fucking lake.
Yeah.
Over
Somebody
and
was bitching
over.
about that?
Oh my God! People are like, "How does this happen?" I'm like, "Wait a minute! You're gonna negate all the magic, all the everything else that happens in the show, but you're gonna
sister
bitch about the
fucking.
Army of the Dead bringing up the Syrian from the lake."
There's no lows around you.
Yeah.
Where'd
See,
they
that
get those
makes sense to
chains?
me though.
It
the dragon thing.
It makes perfect sense.
The
to me.
that makes sense to me.
But people all the time, they're like, it's not possible. Everything else is possible. The Army of the Dead, the Night King, everything else is possible. But bringing
the
up
ice
a
zombies.
dragon from the lake is not possible in any realm.
The many faces.
What I liked was we got a lot of Easter eggs from like stuff that's going on currently in the comics. I mean, like they referenced, Thor going out into space with the Guardians, and he even said as Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, that's a very, very, very new concept. I mean, that title just came out like this year or last year, but it's a completely different team in the comics. But I mean, they pulled that phrase from the comics, the current comics. Also, I don't know if you guys caught it towards the beginning when they were having their little meeting. Black Widow was holding her meeting with all her Avengers.
Yes.
And so I don't know if you caught it, but Carol was like to Rhodey, like, hey, she's like gave him a little like, I hope good luck or something. Well, in the comics, they're a couple. Like they become a couple.
And for her to have her whole movie,
And they're similar.
she was
There's-
barely in the movie.
Did you like her with
She
short
was-
hair?
I did.
I dug
I
it.
did.
I
too.
like short hair though.
I did
on
too.
Females, so that's
I
just
did.
a personal preference.
Yeah.
But they have they have shit in common. They're both from the Air Force. You know what I mean? Like it makes sense for them.
Is she
to,
paralyzed from the waist down?
She is definitely not.
I just wanted to.
Speaking firsthand.
Just wanted to get a clear.
Maybe I'm
where are
thinking-
we drawing the line?
Maybe I'm thinking of Envy Adams. Anyway, but the Carol Rhodey thing, and then of course the callback to Captain America: Winter Soldier, the frickin' elevator scene.
Yep.
Where
that was cool.
He's trying to keep the Loki scepter from Hydra because that's how Strucker got the scepter in the first place.
No, another part that was when you talked about how the two Caps fought each other, and old 2012 Cap was like, "There's no limit to the things I'll do," and he's like, "Yeah, I got it.
I can do this all day.
I can do this all day.
Oh yeah, he's like, we can do
I
this
know,
all
I
day.
know.
Yeah. Shut the hell up.
Like, I got it, motherfucker.
But no, I loved because this was a recent story. The Hydra Cap. Like the turn like Hydra or Cap was always a Hydra agent storyline that came out recently.
Oh really?
Yeah. But I just loved the fact that when they were in the elevator, he just like he's like, no, I'm gonna take this, and then they're like, no, we're gonna take this, and he was like, no, it's okay. Hail Hydra.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yep.
Because he knew
He's not
exactly
supposed
what
to
to
say
say.
that.
Yeah.
I know that, but he had to. It was brilliant of him to say that because he knew that they were Hydra when no one knew at the time.
Nice. As far as some of my favorite moments, I loved right before Tony kind of went crazy. You know, obviously he's in space, and this is the beginning of the movie. You know, 22 days after the snap.
Paper football shit. That was
Paper
awesome.
football stuff was cool, but you know, you could tell he's dehydrated, he's starving. You know, he's back on Earth finally. It was when Rocket spoke, and he was like, "This whole time I thought you were Build-A-Bear." That's right. I fucking lost it.
Where did he go? He said,
That was
he said, "Am I?" Or maybe I am.
But yeah, I thought they had just the right amount of Rocket in the movie. You know, these guys really touched on a lot of my favorite parts, and you know, of course, I think the way Tony went out was amazing. You know, just to wrap up, 11, 12 years now of what we started with the first Iron Man. And then, of course, seeing Jon Favreau there at the end is happy, you know, talking to his daughter, like pretty much being like, I'm going to be here for you for anything that you need. And, you know, two people on the podcast who have daughters, you know, of course.
That's the way it was supposed to be.
Just
Yeah.
hits home. And Happy's been one of my favorite characters. I mean, I love Jon Favreau ever since Swingers, but he's a great director. And I always liked his character as Happy in the movies, too. So it'd be good to hopefully see him in the future.
I've liked
doing
the
some
way
more
he's
stuff.
evolved, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? From more than just like the chauffeur or
Yes.
whatever to actually being like he adds a lot to the story,
Well, he'd
especially
probably
with
be in
Peter Parker
Spider-Man.
and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. He
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
he is.
that's right.
He's
That's
got
right.
the I think. Never mind. I think he's gonna go for Aunt May.
As he should.
Oh,
As he
yes,
should.
as he should.
Good to see her at the funeral.
Correct. And it was good to see, you know, Cap finally finding some happiness. You know, he went back, put the stones back where they needed to go, and
That was
back
a little
to Agent
detour.
That was
Carter.
another
Yeah.
gripe of mine. Like,
And he returned Mjolnir.
Yeah, because
Does he-
that
did
was
he
another
return Meow Meow? Took it.
question of mine. So I'm like, if he's got, go ahead and say it.
Mjolnir.
meow, meow.
You're just going to be my interpreter for that one because I'll just butcher it horribly. So then what happens the whole time? But you said it, though. He went back and returned
He took it
so
with
that's
him.
how Thor still had it.
When Cap picked up Stormbreaker or whatever,
That
so
was
it's like
really
no,
funny, too.
Yeah.
He's like, you get the little.
That was pretty awesome. And that is honestly my biggest gripe about the whole thing. I do think that last battle with all the Avengers was rushed. I wish they would have spent a little, not like an
It
half
was
hour
awesome.
or
Don't
hour
get me
long.
wrong.
It was great, but I would have liked to see more of it. I mean, the highlights, of course, is Black Panther coming back with pretty much all of everybody from
Wakanda.
Wakanda.
Yeah.
Like
Brought
all
Wakanda
Wakanda. And, you know, seeing like the female Avengers there for a little bit, getting
Ooh,
ready to take
A-Force.
names and
Yeah,
kick
the
some
A-Force.
ass. That was
Girl
that was
power
awesome.
moment, yeah.
I think they might do an A-Force movie. That's
They should.
That's another recent kind of team. Like it's an all-female team.
They should. A-Force actually is one of my favorite variant covers too. Don't they have the Straight Outta Compton?
Yeah,
variant
straight out of comics.
for our comic book
I got
collectors
that
out there.
shit.
Check out the A-Force Marvel variant. And yeah. I think.
But that
that's
was
what
one
I
of my
got.
gripes was the so it took them like legit 50 minutes to collect all the stones.
Right.
At the very end, maybe 10 minutes,
Yeah.
you know, with Cap and
Right.
okay, go put those back and create your own life.
The thing I'll say about that is, what I have liked to have seen more of the rest of the Avengers, or the rest of the characters. Sure, but it's like this was an ode to Captain America and Iron Man.
Oh
Like,
yeah, definitely.
the
Well,
rest-
the first six definitely.
yeah,
but
Everything that we're gonna see from here on out is gonna be like you're gonna get all your
Avengers,
fill of
yeah.
Black Panther. You're gonna get your fill of Doctor Strange. They're
Yeah.
probably gonna give him a sequel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're gonna get all that. Like this was really an ode to those guys. I believe the video you sent called it a love letter from Captain America and Iron Man to the fans. I really feel like that's what it was. But I mean, just when Thanos was just like, I am inevitable, and Tony runs over and he kind of you don't really know it's happening at the time, but he steals all the stones and they
uses
go in his,
nanotech
and
to
he
pull
looks
him.
at him and he goes, "I am Iron Man."
Yeah.
Boom.
That was
Yeah.
awesome.
It's just like
That was great.
That was all the goosebumps.
Yeah.
All of them.
I do have one gripe though. That whole Iron Man gauntlet or Stark Tech gauntlet.
yeah, the first one.
Yeah. Well, it kind of Well, what was the point of even going to a Nidavellir and like getting a device
Yes.
powerful enough to harness the stones? That's Stark tech. There's no fucking way in hell it could have.
Did you need more Pete Dinklage? Did you need more Pete Dinklage?
Yes. I did.
Fuck.
I know why they did it, so he could steal them back like that in the end. I know that's why they did it, and I thought it was awesome, and it looked really cool. That's pulled from the comics too, with the Iron Man gauntlet. But that's a gripe. I mean, if that's the case, then why the hell did he have to?
That was also like a
Get
20-30 minute thing in the last movie,
right?
Oh,
Where they
shit. Holding the fucking
Yeah.
thing
Oh,
open.
God.
I love
Yeah.
it.
For the
I love you,
star.
Tyrion. But
Power of a
what
star.
the fuck?
Yeah.
Big Tyrion.
Big, yes, giant,
Big little Tyrion.
Big little Tyrion.
Before we get into our grades for the show, we're going to take a quick little commercial break here. We'd like to take the time to thank one of our sponsors, Andrew Newman, attorney at law. Located here in Greensboro, North Carolina, he can assist you with your criminal as well as traffic violations, and his practice includes Guilford, Forsyth, as well as all surrounding counties. To set up a free consultation, you can contact him at 336-663-2388, and you can also visit him on his website, attorneynewman.com. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are getting ready to give our final grades here for Endgame, and I'll go ahead and kick this one off. I'm going to give this one a A-. To me, I still enjoyed Infinity War a lot more. Jerry and I were talking about this earlier. Infinity War definitely, to me, as far as the Avengers franchise goes, it's the Empire Strikes Back of the franchise. You see the bad guy win. As much as you don't want to pull for him, you see why. Yeah, and you're left feeling broken, but at the same time, you still have like a glimmer of hope that they're going to do something to turn this around. As I mentioned, as we've mentioned throughout the show, of course, there's a few loopholes, but to me, it didn't feel like a 3-hour movie. To me, it actually could have been a little bit longer. As I mentioned, I wish the last scene was a little bit longer. I wish they would have explained a couple more things, like how the Hulk got to be Brainiac Hulk pretty much. Things of that nature. But at the same time, too, I'm really glad the way that they closed out Robert Downey Jr. I thought that was fantastic, him finally getting to have the family life at least. Cap, going back and hanging out with Miss Carter. And, that's
Agent
what I
Carter.
got. So I'm going to
Nasty.
go with, if you're nasty. So, yeah, A- for me. As far as we're all going to say one thing that we're looking forward to in Phase 4, I am looking forward to Black Panther 2. It's what? Kristen Wiig is signed on to play Cheetah.
Really?
In Wonder Woman.
Yeah, that's
Wonder Woman. Shit. Sorry.
Let's back up.
Let's back that one up real quick,
Also-
Stan.
Oh, I got
DC.
some insight for Black Panther too.
So who is it in?
Is it Namor? Is it?
I'll
I thought. Well, no. Isn't Michael B. Jordan coming back?
No, he did.
I don't. I
He
don't.
did until he's back.
I don't remember if you guys remember, but remember when
You just said remember
Okoye-
4 times.
I remember
in a matter.
Okoye was brought up the earthquakes or whatever, and it didn't. You're like, what the hell? Why is she bringing this bullshit up?
In the beginning, yes.
Well, yeah. Well, that's nodding to Namor, the Submariner, who's probably causing that shit. And
Gotcha.
so they, in the comics, Black Panther and Namor have gone head to head many times. They're both kings of their own kingdoms, and they're in charge. And it's. I cannot wait to see Namor the Submariner, because unlike Aquaman in the DC universe, Aquaman is a through and through hero. He is very good, and he's the guy in the water, and he's very good. Namor the Submariner started out as a villain, and he's helped the good guys on numerous times, but no. I can't, I never consider him a hero. He's more of an anti-hero or a villain. And to see him pitted against Black Panther after Endgame is going to be awesome.
Doesn't he? He ends up becoming an Avenger, though.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, he helps the good guys when when
Anti-hero.
All right.
When
So I'll go with that as far as Phase 4 to see who the next branch of Avengers is going to be. Because, we're going to get a new branch.
Oh, yeah. And they might even do they might give us West Coast Avengers.
That would be dope.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right. So where'd I leave off at?
You
A
go with
minus?
your grade, yeah.
As far as what I'm looking forward to. All right.
Yeah.
So wherever I said. So as far as what I'm looking forward to in Phase 4 is to see, what different branches of the Avengers are going to go with. I mean, we're at West Coast Avengers, and then
We could do that. Yeah, they could do that.
Savage Avengers. I mean, as far as the comic book renditions, there's a ton to choose from, but I'm interested to see where they go with and who's going to be leading this new squad. So that's what I got.
Yeah. Well, as far as grades goes for Endgame, I don't know, man. I think I graded Infinity War pretty high. I might have even given it an A, like a solid A, Infinity War. You know what? I kind of agree with you, man. I would say either a B plus or an A minus because you know it. Like you said, it's you know, Infinity War was our Empire Strikes Back, and this was definitely our Return of the Jedi. I mean, complete with
not as bad.
Complete with yub celebrations. You know what I mean?
There's no Ewoks running around.
But no, it's just they gave you so much, and I don't know. I liked Infinity War better.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it flowed a lot better than this movie did.
Character development, amazing in Infinity War. This thing was kind of like hurrying when they didn't have to, and then like drawing stuff out when they should have shortened it up.
Right.
But anyway, I'll go A minus too. As far as shit that I'm interested in moving forward into Phase 4, I cannot wait to see what they do in space with our quote as Guardians of the Galaxy. You've got, I guess, on the team now, you've got Mantis, Drax, Star-Lord, Nebula, Rocket, Groot, and Thor now. So one thing,
Lebowski Thor.
Lebowski Thor. Although when we see them in Guardians 3, he'll probably be on a
hit the gym
weight
again.
Loss plan or something.
I did like his braided.
Oh yeah, he looked really cool. That was calling to when Thor was had the Odin Force and became the Thor Force, but he was like the ultimate version of like the king of Asgard. Mm-hmm. Like he finally became the king. I mean, I know that he's not ready. He's still not ready to be king. That's why he handed it off to Valkyrie at the end of the movie. But I can't wait to see. Just the dynamic between all of them in Avengers Infinity War was so funny and so great, and I can't wait to see more of it. Another thing from the comics is that I know Guardians 3 is coming up. I can't wait for Guardians 3 because I think we're going to see Adam Warlock.
Finally.
Finally. And incidentally, Adam Warlock, or him as he's was first called, his very first appearance was in a Thor comic. So I think they're going to try to tie that in. That's why they're tying Thor in with the Guardians, because they're going to have to face Adam Warlock, and they're going to need somebody as strong as Thor to deal with him.
Nice.
So that's what I got. I can't wait to see this, and I'm going to go see it again tomorrow.
Chris Pratt and Thor play off of each other very well.
Yes, they do.
Yeah,
very, very well, and they make that they make you want to see more. So I gave this movie a B plus, just because I've already talked about all the holes. I left with more questions than I intended to leave with.
Right.
Like I said, I get it as far as a whole.
Sure.
But it's time travel. Come on.
Time travel's a motherfucker, man.
Hey, man, it was the only way.
It was the only way, so they say.
I'm waiting for Tarantino just to do a fucking time travel movie so he can just fuck every money's binds all up.
Yeah.
Hey, I saw the preview for Blooper.
Stan's favorite movie, or soon-to-be favorite movie.
Gemini Man.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So what do you got, bud?
And finish, man.
Oh, shit. That's right. Sorry.
I want to see more Avengers, like the new. Like I want to see
The new
She-Hulk.
squad.
Yeah.
I want to see man. I want to see the X-Men kind of come in.
Yeah. It's about time. The deal's done.
Yeah, but they've planned out most of the phase already before they had those characters.
Yeah, I've been reading stuff that says you won't see it in 4.
Really?
Yeah, they'll improvise something.
You may see some hints.
glimmers.
Yeah, you'll see some
Right.
hints to the X gene or whatever, but or maybe to Galactus. Maybe hopefully they'll lead up to
That's
Galactus.
what I want.
Yeah, that's got to be the next big badass.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's what I
think
want.
they'll do Galactus.
I kind of
and
wanted
then
it in this movie, like towards the end. Like hint at
Like
that shit.
a new threat.
I don't know if we could all handle that. As a society, that's just a lot.
But it was, I mean, this was like the definitive end of this era.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know,
Right.
it's like 10, 12 years.
I'm sorry, y'all. One more thing that I loved was him, Tony looking at Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange giving him the number one. Like, this is it. This is the moment. You know, he didn't let him in on it earlier, so he wouldn't spoil it. You know, but he knew that this was the moment. So, God, it was so great.
Yay! BP plus.
Okay.
So I'm looking back at the notes that I took when we first started this, and I think the second episode we ever did of Multi-Poptural was for Infinity War, and
It was a third, actually.
well, okay,
It was pretty early.
kind of the same things that I have written down about Infinity War, I kind of feel about this. I wrote in the Infinity War days. I definitely think there is an Endgame days where you're kind of working back through. So much happened. There was so much to unpack. All these different things kept me thinking the following day, obviously, and that's the mark of a good movie. I gave Infinity War an A.
Did you like this better than Infinity?
No.
Okay.
You gave
But-
Endgame an A.
But I didn't. Let me put it like this.
Wait, do you give Infinity War or Endgame?
I gave Infinity War an A.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm using that as a barometer, as a benchmark.
Gotcha.
I didn't like Endgame more than Infinity War, but gun to my head, I probably couldn't say that I liked Infinity War more. I think they're right there on the same level for me. I'm gonna give it an A minus, slightly less good because of some of the issues that we've discussed throughout here, the holes, the confusion around time travel, like Jerry said, you know, hurrying in places they didn't have to, and
Definitely.
delaying things, you know, drawing things out where they didn't need to.
Absolutely.
Look, it's a great movie, man. It was epic. It was an epic. It was everything that it was supposed to be. It's gonna be really hard to top what they did with these last two movies moving forward, and that's what I'm looking for in Phase 4. Not necessarily like a specific movie or that type of thing. What I'm looking for is, you know, who is gonna step up and take the mantle as like the lead Avengers.
Oh, Falcon.
I mean, I get
Jordan's
that. You know, spoiler alert: Falcon gets the shield. He's the new Captain America. But you know, do you see Falcon leading like carrying a movie?
No.
You know what I
Give him
mean?
a TV show.
Yeah, they got
His
the
name's
TV show
Clarence.
going.
Like it's Clarence parents have a real good marriage. You know, he's certainly like Thor can certainly carry a movie, and they're building it up for Thor to be sort of that figurehead. But who else?
And, you
I
know,
think
Chris Helmer's, he's already said that he wants to do as many of these as possible.
T'Challa.
Reinvigorated
Yeah.
from Thor
Fucking
Ragnarok.
loves it.
You know, I think T'Challa probably.
I think
Yeah.
Black Panther would be.
Here's the other
leader.
thing too. You know, Marvel wanted Robert Downey Jr. out because he wanted too much money.
Right.
Chris Evans didn't want to be Captain America anymore. Let's fucking see how long he doesn't want to be Captain America for when the roles ain't fucking rolling in. Because when I went home last night, The Losers was on. That movie with him and Negan.
Negan. Yeah, Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Look, bitch, you
And
need
Justin Long?
You need Cap. Yeah, he needs Cap more than Cap needs him. I'm gonna tell him that right now. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think there's an opportunity for Marvel to utilize the old man Cap storyline potentially. Yeah. He could be like the leader of S.H.I.E.L.D. He could take over the Nick Fury role. I think that's something that happened in the comics in some areas.
Yeah, he
There's
formed,
there's some opportunities.
He formed
there.
the Uncanny Avengers as Old Man Cap. He brought like mutants and like regular humans with powers together.
And maybe that's what he does. Yeah. I don't know, but I want to see that. I want to see who Marvel who's going to carry the cinematic universe moving forward.
Nice. Before we wrap it up, make sure you check us out on our social media pages. It's at Multipoptural, MultipopTural. Check out our new website, courtesy of our friends over at Zibster, Zibster. And that's going to do it for us here at Multipoptural. We'll catch you on the next episode.
Peace.
Yes! Yeah! Victory!
And anger management?
Fuck anger management.